Hello, rabbit hole fans, and welcome to One Rabbit Hole. This is the podcast where one Google search can turn into 37 unopened tabs and a complete waste of an otherwise productive evening. Now, this week I Googled, where is Ned Kelly's head? That's right, absolute mystery. So we are talking about bushranger and gang leader Edward Ned Kelly. So what happened here? Obviously, there's a lot of history around Ned Kelly, but we're just going to talk about his head, or his skull more so. But in 1880, when Ned Kelly was executed or hung, the old Melbourne jail, they supposedly buried his body with other, I guess, prisoners, etc. Now that body was buried there at the old Melbourne jail until 1929, when they did some demolition works and they picked up all these bodies, and there's not much respect there, is there? Anyway, they picked up all these bodies and took them to Pentridge and buried them over there. So, and he was buried in a wooden coffin as well, okay? So his body was in one box. Now, what's happened is over the years, they've unburied him to do autopsy, post-mortem stuff. You know, now as technology kind of went forward and realized his skull was missing. Right, and actually 95% of his skeleton was there, the rest of his skeleton, sorry. So, what's going on? Very strange. No one really knows. There was a skull in the old Melbourne jail, which was apparently Ned Kelly's skull. Everyone went there, had a look. Wow, that's Ned Kelly's skull. It was stolen in 1978. And it was later called the Baxter skull, because there's a West Australian farmer called Tom Baxter who actually handed the skull in I think, the early 2000s or 2011 or something. Claimed he didn't steal it, just he's had it for decades. Quite sure where he got it from. Are you divulging everything there, Tom? Anyway, that's probably a different rabbit hole. Yeah. They tested the skull, was not Ned Kelly's. Whose was it? I don't know. They had poor records back there. They dumped heaps of these bodies that they executed in the same kind of spot. I think there was 30 odd bodies where Ned Kelly was originally buried. So I don't know. They didn't label things. They didn't do, any of that. So whose skull was that? And the skull the skeleton, has a little bit of the skull on the back of it, which they broke off originally because they wanted to ensure that the neck was completely severed. Pretty gross, and my thoughts are to the Ned Kelly family, because, obviously he is a loved one of and connected to people that are still alive today. Now, according to Dr. Craig Cormick, who is a super science researcher, lover of history, he's edited a fantastic book, Ned Kelly Under the Microscope. These are the three kind of most plausible theories, I guess. One of them, first one, is it got destroyed during the demolition in 1929. Not so sure. I guess the head's on the end, but you'd think more of the skeleton would be destroyed. Next one is the senior member of the Catholic clergy buried it in secret. Perhaps. The third one is that it was stolen by a craniologist, a Mr. Archibald Hamilton, who actually died not that long after Ned Kelly himself. And so, did his wife just order a skip in the driveway, throw it in there? Not sure. Other theories. It was used as part of a trophy. Someone made like a trophy out of parts of it. People used it as a paperweight. That's quite a big one. Or another kind of common common one is that doctors actually kept it to start with, because back then they thought there was a link between the size and shape of the brain and potentially the link to do with, I guess, naughty people. No, people who had some questionable behaviours in the criminal kind of sense. I have found, I did not find the answer to this, but no one actually knows, so fair enough. But I did find a lot of questions have come up from Googling this, right? If that skull in the museum is not Ned Kelly's, whose is it? What if other items in the museum are also not real? I'm paying big money to enter these museums, right, or get a membership, and here I am staring at a dinosaur bone that might in fact be a completely different thing. I don't know. I'm being duped. I'm being tricked here. All those people that came in and had a look at Ned Kelly's skull, now thinking that wasn't Ned Kelly's skull. I went back, had dinner with the family, told them, today I saw Ned Kelly's skull. Nah, it's all a hoax. Fake. You did not see Ned Kelly's skull, and that is disappointing. Okay, that day was wonderful. Now it's wrecked. Yeah, so, well, the real skull, Ned Kelly's real skull, if it is out there, could it be floating in someone's garage, attic, storage container? I don't know. Could it have gone in that skip and now it's been crunched up into landfill? I'm not too sure. Could it be in public? Like we walk past it all the time, or it's in another museum. Now we don't trust these museums, so could the skull of a Tasmanian tiger that they have at the University of Melbourne in the Anatomy and Physiology department, could that actually be Ned Kelly's skull, not the Tasmanian tiger? I don't know who to believe anymore, right? So where is it? It could just be there. Imagine, can you imagine if it's there? We just walk past it all the time. Maybe, like, I don't know, someone's pickleball trophy with a little pickleball bat on it. It's actually a bit of Ned Kelly's skull. Potentially. Not sure. Not sure at all. Can you imagine, as well, the person that stole it, risking going to prison and you got the wrong skull? That'd be a laugh, wouldn't it? Now, thankfully, the bones ended up, or the rest of the skeleton ended up going back to the family. Again, around that time in the early 2000s, 2011 or 2014, I can't quite remember. But they've been given back. They're now in the Greta Cemetery near his mother's unmarked grave, just out of Glenrowan, near kind of Wangaratta. So, and I think it's his maternal mum's side that has the bones, and they managed to bring it back home. So at least for the family and the bloodlines, Ned Kelly is back near his mum and actually not sitting dumped beneath Pentridge or one of these old prisons. I did see a photo the day before Ned Kelly was executed, and he is quite the dapper guy. He has had a beautiful, well, he's been to the barber. Beard, nice top mop. I'll have to get a photo and put it on IG because he looks like he could be my local barista. Put him in a nice little apron, he'll make a mean cup of coffee. Anyway, I'll throw that up. So that's about it for Edward Kelly. Ned Kelly, the great bushranger and gang leader. Great historical character of our country. Next week. So, every rabbit hole starts with a question. Sometimes it is about a outlaw, notorious outlaw. Sometimes it's actually about yourself. And I'm going to open up a little bit next week, touch my vulnerability side, because it's something that's a little bit close to me, but I would say is also another thing that a lot of us would question. So stick with me for next week. I'll put up that photo of Ned Kelly. Grab this podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms. You can watch me on YouTube if you can deal with that. And we will see you next week. Such is life.